are the two candidates being considered to replace Jang Gong? And who are the descendants of Mr. Jang Gong? And what's with YEONWO and HWITA? Why did they get hit by a car? Then can they be saved?
YEONWO could only remain silent.
Then HWITA answered, "From this moment onward, I'd like it if you were to become my wife."
While looking at HWITA, YEONWO could not say anything.
They looked at each other. HWITA looked at YEONWO with happiness and said how changed she was. Then she asked, "Is it fun to play with me?"
YEONWO then replied, "Sorry, a woman you just met for the first time asked you to take her. Seems ridiculous, right? That's why you acted aloof towards my words and rejected me at that time. So are you saying that it's not wrong for you to say this now?"
Instantly, they fell silent.
You can't imagine how I felt when those words came out of my mouth. You don't even know what's what, YEONWO said.
HWITA was silent and looked at YEONWO deeply. Then he held YEONWO's cheek and said, "I'm sorry. I haven't explained well, so it seems you misunderstood. I apologize for not considering your feelings, lady. Compelled to tell the man you just met to take you, you must be in a pretty difficult situation. I'm the same. I didn't say that to lie or joke with you. Will you give me a chance to explain myself?" said HWITA.
YEONWO then accepted HWITA's request. She immediately tried on the dress she was going to wear, while being accompanied by HWITA's servants. YEONWO was silent and said, "As you might have guessed."
After finishing trying on the dress, they sat together and were served with a cup of drink at the table.
Then HWITA said, "In this place Jang Gong is a special creature. He is the king of the underworld. And at the same time, he has the strongest familiar. And there are two candidates in the running to be his successor."
Two candidates? YEONWO was very surprised.
Then HWITA continued her explanation. Jang Gong only has one son, HYOJO. His direct descendant named HYOJO. And the other one is what HWITA said while holding a glass. Me. Jang Gong's distant cousin, YEONWO could only be silent with HWITA's words and said,
Jang Gong's cousin?
Then HWITA answered, "Right now, I'm being threatened by HYOJO. Because my existence is blocking his way to the throne. Therefore, to show that I am not interested in the successor position, I need a woman who has nothing to do with this. And it was right at that moment that you have appeared. What do you think? Will you be my pretend wife? When you are ready to accept my offer, please return to my bedroom."
YEONWO can only be silent with all of HWITA's explanations and questions that make him surprised. Because YEONWO agreed to HWITA's request, he immediately left HWITA's room and hurried to get ready. While daydreaming with very beautiful makeup, YEONWO said, "A pretend wife."
After that, a servant came with YEONWO to HWITA's room. "Mr. HWITA, Miss YEONWO has arrived," he said.
Then YEONWO said to herself as she looked at the door, "In my past life, I have never heard of a distant cousin. I have never heard of Jang Gong's distant cousin. I don't know how much is true, but anyway, I have no other choice."
"He probably came in," said HWITA. Then HWITA opened the door and said, "You are here." HWITA looked at YEONWO, who was looking very beautiful in the dress.
While approaching HWITA, YEONWO said, "No matter what status, position, or situation, I must use everything within my reach." He looked deeply at HWITA. "Just like how this person used me," YEONWO said.
Then HWITA said, "You're wearing a nice expression. Have you made a decision?"
YEONWO replied, "Yes. I will be your wife," said YEONWO.
Smiling, HWITA said, "Then it's a deal." HWITA then directed YEONWO, "Now," while pointing her hand towards her room. "There you go." YEONWO sat down in her room and HWITA held her shoulder and said, "In other people's eyes, we should look like a couple who fell in love at first sight. I will put my lips on your neck. Will this be okay with you?" While looking at HWITA, YEONWO could only be silent. "Oh," HWITA held YEONWO's earring and said, "I told Sareem that you shouldn't wear earrings." Looks like she forgot, while hugging YEONWO from the side.
Then, YEONWO. YEONWO looks very anxious because HWITA will touch him, but it seems like YEONWO remembers Hyojo, who at that time wanted to do the same thing to him.
Don't forget, with a very scared look, Hyojo also wanted to touch him at that time. But the memory was defeated when HWITA started touching his neck.
Then YEONWO said the only person you can put your lips on. It's me, she said. Immediately, YEONWO fell silent and said, Let go, I told you. To let me go. Let go of me. I said let go of me.
My lady, HWITA said.
I told you to let go of me. YEONWO cried and kept forcing HWITA to let go.
Instantly YEONWO looked weak and fell down. HWITA was shocked. Young lady. Sigh, HWITA said. Really? She is really unpredictable.
Let go of me. Observed from outside the room, Sareem also heard HWITA and YEONWO's conversation. Oh said let go. YEONWO's voice got louder, until the servants heard and whispered.
What is it? A woman's scream.
What happened? Sareem said. Sareem also held the door of the room while eavesdropping.
Then another servant reminded Sareem, Sareem, you must not do this, no matter what. If you're caught eavesdropping here, Mr. HWITA will not spare you.
Then Sareem denied it and said, It's okay, it's okay. I'll eavesdrop for just a few seconds. Suddenly, a door to HWITA's room was pushed by Sareem, so she fell down.
HWITA asked the guards, What are you doing?
Okay, said Sareem fearfully.
Except for Sareem. You all go, said HWITA to all the guards.
Yes, Mr. HWITA, said the guards.
Sareem wanted to go out, but HWITA prevented him. I said wait for my order. But I don't remember giving permission to eavesdrop, said HWITA.
Then Sareem replied, Well, that's true, but on an important night like tonight, I wonder if there might be something you need, so I would like to serve you, sincerely and fully. Attention, my lord.
HWITA replied, You're really good at work. But that's over now. It was really the best night. The most important one didn't happen as you expected.
Sareem was very surprised by what you said and said, What? What happened? Everyone here heard the woman scream. Why is she screaming like that?
Then HWITA was silent and told Sareem to look into the room. Go inside and check for yourself.
Sareem went into his room. Fortunately, it was only a momentary loss of consciousness. He saw YEONWO already lying unconscious. He'll probably be better after a little rest. Why is she crying like this? Sareem said as she wiped away YEONWO's tears.
Then HWITA replied, I didn't do anything.
You handled the gisan very well. Then why did you make it like this? Sareem said.
Then HWITA replied, When did I handle gisan well? We just played the necessary over and over to each other's advantage. But he doesn't think that way. In the first place, he's a bank and not looking at me properly. HWITA also remembered YEONWO's treatment that had just happened. It's like he's thinking of someone else.
Mr. HWITA, did you hear me? Who does he think he is? Please treat that woman well, though. She is an important person to you. Maybe you should make her feel comfortable, said Sareem.
Then HWITA said, That's something I still don't know. More importantly, have you checked for any marks on the woman's neck?
Then Sareem replied, There are some faint traces, but nothing definite yet.
You can confirm if you are staying here. But since the woman is in this state, it will be difficult to confirm for now. Understood. You can go now and make sure to keep today's matter a secret, said HWITA.
Then Sareem replied, Understand, Mr. HWITA.
HWITA also approached YEONWO while checking his condition. While touching his eyes, Dan said, You makes me worrying.
It was already morning. Then YEONWO opened his eyes. She paused and looked very. Then YEONWO sat down and said, Hyojo.
Apparently HWITA heard YEONWO's words and said, Hyojo. Did you have a nightmare? YEONWO didn't know that HWITA was in her room. Apparently HWITA was sitting and drinking at the table in her room and said, "How are you doing now? You suddenly fainted last night, which is quite worrying to me."
Ah, said YEONWO. Then YEONWO replied, I'm sorry, I don't remember what happened yesterday very well.
"It's okay," said HWITA. Then HWITA said, You must be feeling very weak. Let's start by eating first." HWITA also held the chopsticks. Then HWITA also said, "There is one thing I want to clarify. You have asked me to protect you. I have decided to accept that condition.
YEONWO was silent.
However, to do that, I have to know who I have to protect, what and who you're afraid of." "I want to know everything," said HWITA.
YEONWO was downcast with HWITA's question and said in his heart, "What?" The image of the hyojo instantly entered his mind. And who do I fear? He was still downcast and clenched his two hands so tightly. How much? Can I really tell this person? Then they looked at each other. And YEONWO said, I have a husband. Suddenly, YEONWO remembered his past with hyojo. Back then, hyojo called out,
"YEONWO."
and YEONWO also saw it. She was very happy that hyojo had approached her at that time. Then she ran over and hugged the hyojo.
And hyojo said, "You might fall down if you run like that."
And YEONWO replied, "It's okay, because you will always be there to catch me."
"That's right. Yes, maybe. I really loved him once. I will never win against you," hyojo said.
And those were the words of hyojo, my ex-husband, YEONWO said in his mind's eye, while hugging. Then YEONWO told me while imagining what happened, before I talked about my previous husband. I'll tell you about my childhood. A family photo on the guest table. With a strict mother and a loving father, a mature first child, and a loving second child, our family would seem like a normal family to others. But in that place, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was an outsider. After that, YEONWO told me about his school testing. At that time at school,
A teacher tells his student, "You know that tomorrow our class will have a parent observation, right? Everyone, don't forget to show the family newsletter to your parents, okay? Make everyone pay attention," and several teachers left. Goodbye and good afternoon.
give this to my mum, is it okay to tell her? YEONWO said as he looked at the newsletter.
It was at his house, Siawu. Siawu Chai. YEONWO was surprised to see her sister shuffling toys.
Ha! Said Siawu.
Mom and Dad will be home soon, so how could you leave such a mess? Who's going to clean all this up? YEONWO said.
Then Siawu replied nervously, "You will."
You are absolutely right. YEONWO is very upset with her sister.
We have arrived home. I heard her mum's voice from outside.
It's Mom, said Siawu. Mom. Siawu ran towards his mom who had just arrived.
Siawu Chai. YEONWO called out to her but Siawu didn't care.
His mum looked at YEONWO so upset.
Then YEONWO said while feeling scared, "Welcome home?"
Then her mum looked at YEONWO while Siawu asked to be held. "YEONWO, what's in that house?" Mum said.
Then YEONWO replied, "I'll clean it up," but Siawu.
Then her mum interrupted, "Did you blame your sister? It is your responsibility to take care of your younger sister."
YEONWO replied, "That's true, but..." Again YEONWO's words were cut off.
Carry me, Siawu said.
YEONWO Chai, her mum called YEONWO.
She was so scared and shocked.
Then his mum said, "What did your mum tell you?" Mum said big sister should do the right thing, so that her younger sister will also do the right thing. Would you like to talk to your mum again?
"No, I apologize," said YEONWO.
Mum is about to take a bath, so you better clean up the mess you made earlier.
YEONWO replied, "Okay." Yes. Yeonwoo immediately tidied up his house. While holding the doll in her hand, she said, I knew it would be better if I didn't tell my mum about my parents' observation. Even if I didn't, she'd be too busy to come over. I shouldn't trouble mum for no reason. I'll be fine alone. The next day, I was going to school, Yeonwoo said.
Then his mum said, "YEONWO, are you ready to go to school?"
Yes, said Yeonwoo.
Then his mother said, "Don't you have anything to say to your mother?"
Then Yeonwoo replied, Sorry, don't know what you mean.
"I heard that today is your parent observation class. Why didn't you tell me?" It seems like his mum had already heard of the heritage.
Yeonwoo frantically replied, I didn't mean not to tell you, because mum's always busy. I didn't want to disturb you. Yeonwoo looked down.
Her mother's behavior said, "You're acting weak again." "Yeonwoo, who told you to pay attention to things like that?" "Yeonwoo Chai, raise your head, look mum, look into my eyes. Think carefully before you speak. Do you want mum to leave, or not to go?"
Then Yeonwoo said, It's been a long time. Yeonwoo saw her mum.
With a glass in his hand while smiling at Yeonwoo.
Ever since I saw you smile. Yeonwoo tightened his shirt and spoke very nervously. I like it when mum comes. His mum paused and smiled, then said,
"Okay, this is my daughter's class. Of course I have to go. See you at school later."
Okay. Yeonwoo looked very happy as he said, My mum will come to school. My mum is coming to school to see me.
His mum arrived at school.
Then Yeonwoo waved goodbye to his mum and said, I'll work harder to show her the teacher I praise. Then my mum will be proud of me too.
His mum waved back to Yeonwoo.
And next time he'll come again, right? Now, I can also be the girl who gets love, Yeonwoo said happily.
School was in session, suddenly out of school. Mum was really disappointed with Yeonwoo today. Mum always said that Yeonwoo would be the smartest in his class. But looking at the others makes me very embarrassed. I want to see how well Yeonwoo is doing, but if it's like this next time, I better not come. It turns out that Yeonwoo disappointed his mother. His mum looked at Yeonwoo and said, "You agree, don't you?"
Yeonwoo was silent and said, Still? Then she clasped her mum's hand. I'd rather have mum come.
His mum looked at Yeonwoo and said, "Sorry, my daughter." Mum was just upset. "I want to boast to others about how smart and beautiful you are, but I can't show it to them. If you promise to do better next time, I will take the time to come again. You understand, right?"
Of course, said Yeonwoo.
And her mum said, "I have to make a quick call, so keep an eye on your sister."
Yeonwoo replied, Yes, mum.
Uni, do we have to keep waiting? Said Siawoo.
Then Yeonwoo replied, I don't know. The phone call seems to be taking a while.
While looking at her mother, Siawoo said, Can't we go to mum?
No. She told us to stay here. It seems like it's almost over, so wait a little longer, Yeonwoo said.
His mother looked at her son.
Mum. Suddenly, Siawoo ran towards her mum.
Then Yeonwoo panicked and called out, Siawoo. You are absolutely right. Yeonwoo chasing Siawoo. Will you listen to your Uni? Look at their delay, there's a mobile that's passing by. Yeonwoo was so shocked.
There was a crashing sound. Then the neighborhood people said some children were hit.
Call for an ambulance. Apparently Siawoo and Yeonwoo were hit by the car.
Father, it turned out that Yeonwoo was still unconscious with Sarah in his head.
His mum ran. "No, this is mum," she said to Yeonwoo.
Mum, it hurts. It's very painful. So please, said Yeonwoo. Yeonwoo was lying very helpless at that time. Yeonwoo just asked her mum to, care about me. Instantly, Yeonwoo was unconscious. In his dream he remembered the accident that happened to him and Siawoo. At that time, he saw a car hit them. Suddenly, Yenwu lost consciousness. Ugh! With a bandage on his head, he paused and looked at his neighbor. Then he said, "Here is." She noticed that Siawu was covered in bandages. While looking at Siawu, she said, "I'm happy. Siawu is also safe." Then Yenwu approached him. "Siawu, I'm sad that I'm going to protect you, Siawu, but..." "Siawu, I'm so sorry," Yenwu cried as he wiped away his tears. "How can I be happy?" There was a voice from outside which turned out to be her mother. Yenwu overheard her mother and father's conversation.
Then his mum got hysterical and said, "Does it make sense that you can't even pay the Taliban for the children's hospital? How much money do I have to spend on this accident?"
Then her husband calmed her down. "Honey, please calm down. I'll try to organize it as soon as possible."
"Quiet, are you telling me to calm down in this situation? Siwoo is lying in that state right now. And you're asking me to calm down," Mum said in a tone that was annoyed.
Then her husband said, "Keep your voice down or Yenwu will wake up."
Then his mum said, "If we don't solve this problem now, we might end up on the streets. I don't want to live like that anymore." Yeonwoo. If only he did it right, none of this would have happened. Observed from inside the patient's room, Yeonwoo apparently heard his mother's words. "Like you said, if I hadn't asked you to come to school, this accident wouldn't have happened. If only I wasn't selfish."
Siawu wouldn't get hurt like this. I guess Mum's having a hard time like that, right? Yenwu is very sad and her mum is very disappointed and upset. Yenwu cried while covering her ears and said, "It's me again, all because of me. Because of my mistakes." That day also passed. As time passed, Siawu and I were discharged from the hospital. Our family couldn't afford the hospital bills for both of us, and sold the house we were living in and moved to an older house, Yenwu said. While carrying the box of goods, Yenwu was silent while looking at his mother and said, "After the accident, my mum's eyes were like reprimanding me. Serial times Siawu's scar looks windblown. I felt like everything was pointing at me. It became difficult for both of us to make eye contact." That day passed.
A few years later, I became a famous composer. Although I can't move my left pinky freely because of the accident when I was young, at best, my people are a beautiful composer who overcomes pain. Give me more attention. And the day my song entered the charts for the first time. At that time, Yenwu approached his mum. Mum, look here. My song entered the top charts for the first time. People say it's good to aim for first place this time."
Then his mother said, "Is that so? I'm so proud of me, my son. Then when can you send me this month's living expenses?"
I think I will receive the payment within this week. I'll send it to you as soon as it comes in," Yenwu said.
And his mum replied, "Is that so? I'm glad it went well. I'm sure there will be a lot of money. This month has been very difficult thanks to my eldest daughter. I can still live now." "Thank you, my child," said Mum.
Then Yenwu replied, "I'm fine, Mum. Of course, I will help my own family."
"That's my only Yeonwoo." Yeonwoo was surprised that his mum hugged him.
Yenwu was silent and very happy. Then she said, "Really, everything happened because of my mistakes. I just have to do well then." That day passed. My family and I traveled by car. We were very happy. That night it rained while we were on the road. Then Yenwu said, "Over time, our family can be happy again like before. Me and my mum aren't like before anymore. Mum has accepted me well." Our car was traveling very fast.
Then Dad said, "Wait, suddenly the brakes don't work. Everyone be careful."
The car we were traveling in had brake problems, and then slid freely into the ravine. Instantly, our car was underneath us, far from the road. That's when my family felt the underworld for the first time, said Yenwu. I saw a horse. That's how I met the Hyojo. I saw her riding the horse.
Then he said, "They are people from the earth.
Then I looked at the Hyojo.
Hyojo said that I looked like her mom.
It was love at first sight, YEONWO said. She treated my family with great hospitality and allowed us to stay in his palace. He whispered his love as he looked at me and held my cheek, feeling it for the first time.
And Hyojo said, everything you love from me. My frozen heart. It melts as if spring has come.
I was also very happy. We feel in love with each other. And the Hyojo holds me. The day passed. At that time, I walked towards the Hyojo room. When I opened the door, I was surprised. Hyojo!
Hyojo was shocked when YEONWO suddenly walked in. You're here too, Hyojo said.
YEONWO paused as she saw the Hyojo, and the two people were already covered in blood. What are you doing here? What are you doing now? What is your reason for doing this? YEONWO said.
Then the Hyojo strangled the man's neck. Can't answer. You talk about this. I heard rumors of one of them. They dared to touch you, said Hyojo.
Then YEONWO got upset and said, because of some of that nonsense, they just caught me when I was about to fall.
Hyojo was furious and said, I imagine they tied your shirt collar. My anger rose to the top of my head. So it's natural to punish them directly. Understand, YEONWO? Just tell me who it is. And all I have to do is kill that person. It's that simple. I even arrested some innocent people for no reason. That's so stupid. So which one of these people arrested you? Okay. YEONWO.
YEONWO fell down very weakly seeing Hyojo's actions.
Then Hyojo approached YEONWO. I see, YEONWO. I look very surprised. Then she clasped Hyojo's hand. It would be all right. You don't have to worry. I know everything.
YEONWO could only remain silent.
While kissing YEONWO's hand, Hyojo said, and I'll handle it all for you. I love you, YEONWO.
YEONWO also finished telling about his family, childhood, and Hyojo. It looks like YEONWO is devastated by what she told us. YEONWO could only bow down in front of HWITA.
Then HWITA replied, something like that happened. Then, do you want me to protect you from your ex?
And YEONWO said, HWITA must think my ex-husband is on Earth. Men! Because of my ex-husband, I became afraid of men.
Then what about me? HWITA said.
YEONWO replied, yes.
I am also a true gentleman, said HWITA.
Oh, that. Because HWITA is very kind, said YEONWO. And
HWITA said, so pretty. After I thought about it, you told me to have it, right? HWITA said.
YEONWO blushed and could only laugh.
Then HWITA said, for women, I think I made you feel very comfortable. If you hadn't fainted last night, I'll make sure you know what kind of man I am. HWITA said that as she approached YEONWO, and YEONWO looks very happy.
Then YEONWO said, I'm sorry.
Okay. It's okay because I didn't mean it, said HWITA, then said. More than that, I have a place to go with you today. We're having a banquet at the small shop that I manage. Not often, but sometimes I have to show my face.
Then YEONWO asked, but why am I in a place like that?
It's not very clear, said HWITA. With equally happy faces, HWITA again approached YEONWO and said, what I want to do with my lover is in a nice place, like a man would want.
YEONWO smiled happily at HWITA's words and treatment of her.
Then HWITA said, then, should we spread the news about the relationship? You should also accompany me in all my schedules for a while. They will leave in the carriage soon. If you need anything, call Sareem or Soho anytime. I will always be by your side. Then HWITA introduced the guards to YEONWO. The introduction is too late. This is Soho, who will be in charge of escorting young ladies from now on. She is still young. Are you also afraid of this person?
Then YEONWO replied, I think I'm fine with it. Then YEONWO said, I'm happy if it is. Then HWITA interrupted.
He may be young, but he's a talented boy. He'll protect you when I'm not around.
Do I have to be separated from HWITA often? YEONWO said.
Then HWITA replied, don't worry, it won't happen often. We'll just use one room anyway.
Then YEONWO was surprised. One room?
Of course, because we are lovers, said HWITA.
YEONWO is occasionally made happy by HWITA's words. Then YEONWO said, that's right, but still the same room is a bit uncomfortable.
One more thing. After the banquet was over, I plan to go say hello to Mr. Janggong. For Mr. Janggong, I will introduce you as my lover. Are you all right?
YEONWO was silent. He wrinkled his shirt because he was so afraid of it. Then YEONWO imagined Hyojo.
This time, Hyojo appeared in his mind. I think we'll really meet.
Then YEONWO calmed himself down and said to himself, calm down, you'll go there as HWITA's lover. Hyojo won't be able to treat me carelessly. It's okay, it'll be okay. So please calm down. YEONWO was silent.
Then HWITA asked, are you okay? Because before, the look in your eyes wasn't very good. HWITA held a handkerchief. Then she wiped away YEONWO's tears.
YEONWO was silent. Then YEONWO brushed off HWITA's hand. I'm fine, I'm just lost in thought. I'm a little lost. In addition, are we there yet? YEONWO said.
Then HWITA said, are you very worried about what will happen in the future? Don't worry, from now until then, you are my lover. Holding out his hand, I made a promise to you that nothing will happen to you.
YEONWO smiled. Then he grasped HWITA's hand and said, yes.